While hundreds of violent abusers rarely sent to prison or even spend a day in jail. Our News 5 investigative team spent a full year exposing serious loopholes, placing a lot of women at risk.
On your side, Chief Investigator Ron Regan is here tonight. And Ron, you've been digging into nearly 700 cases just in Cuyahoga County.
Well, that's how many abusers were charged with felony domestic violence just last year. But we found one of every 3 abusers never spent a day behind bars.
And when I opened the door, he came flying through the door and he threw me against the wall.
She's describing a terrifying night in 2014. Her abuser, now inside her home, had a long history of abusing women, running one off the road, grabbing another by the throat. On this night, she was next.
I couldn't even scream because I couldn't even breathe.
By now, her abuser knows exactly how to game the system. Probation in a 2010 case. So 5 months later, he abuses another. And after just 30 months in prison, he strikes again.
And he had this look in his eyes that I've never seen.
So we tracked every abuser in every felony domestic violence case filed last year in Cuyahoga County, nearly 700. We found 8 out of 10 repeatedly abused women, and punishment often falls far short of the crime.
He puts his hands on my throat and he lifts me up and he starts squeezing me in my throat.
Choking you?
Choking me.
Around
my throat. He was holding me with one hand and holding my throat with another.
Seconds later, slamming her beloved dog into the wall.
I'm going to die. My dog's going to die. I grab my dog, I pick him up, and I'm trying to see if anything's broke on him. That's all I could figure, because the dog's just screeching and crying, you know.
Then, a chilling threat.
And that's when he told me he was going to kill me.
He said that?
He said to me, I'm going to kill you. And he's holding me the same way. And he says, I'm going to bury you in the woods.
But despite all of that, a 3-time abuser spent just 12 months behind bars.
Do you think it will help him?
No, it did not. He walked out of there, he's doing the same thing he did when he left. He's a human time bomb ready to explode.
We found 582 of nearly 700 felony abusers struck plea deals leading to reduced charges, including when guns are involved. This repeat abuser got just 18 months in prison, and this one remained free to abuse for years. In 2011, probation after beating his father. In 2013, again probation after punching and strangling his child's mother. In 2014, accused of trying to kill her. And just 6 months later, beating her again. But that long history of abuse equals just 3 years in prison. We asked a top prosecutor, how can that happen?
Doesn't that suggest that perhaps prosecutors are not being as aggressive as they should be?
Believe me, we would love to be more aggressive. But it's actually pretty amazing. A lot of women, it's amazing that they can actually hide.
Diane Russell is deputy supervisor in the Major Trials Unit and says victims often fail to prosecute.
And she wants to believe that he's sorry and that it'll never happen again. So it makes it difficult when Jane Q. Public calls her and says, I want to prosecute the man that you love.
We found only 161 abusers actually went to prison. 235 more never spent a day behind bars. Findings that raise concern among domestic violence advocates.
Does this send a message to abusers?
Absolutely. So if someone abuses their victim and they are arrested and they just get, a slap on the hand, well, they know they can get away with it and they'll do it again.
Linda Johannick heads up Cleveland's Domestic Violence Center.
What needs to change?
There are several things that need to change in order to have a more effective system and to truly hold offenders accountable and ensure victim safety. One is the judicial system. It needs a lot of training, education. We know who's at the highest risk. And so if those factors are in a case, that's something that individuals need to be aware of. That's something that judges need to be aware of.
Still, it leaves many others continuing to feel at risk.
He's going to hurt somebody. His next victim probably won't be sitting here talking to you, whether it be me or someone else.
Well, here's the crisis hotline number you can call at the Domestic Violence Center, 216-391-HELP. And prosecutors say they're hopeful that the addition of body cameras worn by police will provide additional evidence in cases where victims fail to prosecute. I'm Chief Investigator Ron Regan.